With the corn growing in the outfield, the sun shining, and summer breezing in, a group of men and boys from the Union County community gathered about 1900 outside New Albany to square off against a rival team from an adjacent county. Businessmen and farmers, young and old, the New Albany Union County team on that day more than a century ago posed for this photograph, capturing the essence of hometown sports. Their faces peer from the distance of decades, their names a roll call of friends and relatives, neighbors and teammates. From the earliest games played by the native peoples of our area, it has been about skill and competition, rivalry and community. Hometown sports are more than just games. They are taken seriously, and they shape our people, our communities, and our country. They unite and celebrate us as Americans. From the pickup games to organized leagues, from the sandlots to the sportsplex, if we're not playing sports, we're watching them. We pull out our folding chairs, or sit in the stands, or gather on the sidelines and root for our teams, cheering on our sons and daughters as they take their first swings and as they kick their first goals. We have gathered for well more than a century here in Union County for the love of the game, and the love of competition and games continues. The opportunities for athletes have expanded from the early days of our community, where men's baseball teams commanded all the attention, through the days when a group of young women from Ingomar School with a 54-0 record for their season won the Grand Slam basketball championship in 1958, to the day when an African-American athlete from Myrtle, Mississippi, Arminty Price Harrington, was named the WNBA Rookie of the Year in 2007. New Albany boys and girls basketball teams won the Little Ten Conference in 1942. The 1978 Ingomar boys basketball team would bring the county together to get to the Big House in Jackson and win one of the most exciting Grand Slam championship games through sheer grit and teamwork. The county came together to support them. Today, all youth have a wider selection to play, to cheer, and to watch than ever before. Traditional hometown sports of football, baseball, and basketball share billing with soccer, tennis, powerlifting, wrestling, and many other sports. Hunting and fishing remain firmly entrenched in our regional culture, and where are the best holes for grabbing that 50-pound catfish? The early days of heading to the hunting camps in the Tallahatchie River bottom was a seasonal pilgrimage, just as Union County native son William Faulkner told us in his book, The Big Woods. It was of the wilderness, the big woods, bigger and older than any recorded document. And hunters headed to the wilderness in search of that connection that resides deep within each of us. One Union County native, Clyde Morton, still holds the record after more than 60 years of winning more national championships with his bird dogs in national field trials. Myrtle dog trainer Gordon Simmons held the title of Hunt Master in Alabama for 50 years and hunted with American presidents and many of the rich and famous. If we listen with our imaginations, we can still hear the axes felling the trees that were donated by a family in the Macedonia community in western Union County. Men, women, and children gathered to build the gym there that gave the youth the opportunity to play indoors for the first time. The boys team won the state championship in 1944. Other Union County communities followed suit, and basketball began to be played under a roof with seating for the many excited fans. 2 generations later, a young John Stroud was the top basketball scorer in the Southeastern Conference and went on to play professionally for the Houston Rockets, a direct descendant from that Macedonia community. Before desegregation, the Union County Training School earned a case full of regional and state trophies and had one of the first gyms for African American players in the state. Not only did these athletes excel as teams, there are many who played beyond high school. Left-hander Bob Boyd from the area played first base in the Negro Leagues until drafted by the Chicago White Sox in 1951. He was the first black player to sign with the White Sox. Later playing with the Baltimore Orioles, he was the first Oriole player to reach the 300 mark in the 20th century. He's in the National Baseball Congress Hall of Fame as well as the Negro League Hall of Fame. When the first football team was organized in Union County by a young man who had a dream, he borrowed used uniforms from then Mississippi A&M School in Starkville, now Mississippi State University, and the New Albany Bulldogs took the field. 40 years later, the New Albany Bulldogs were undefeated and won the 1963 Little Ten Conference, and the entire community was in a frenzy for those unforgettable plays that are still talked about today. They become the book of our lives, the mile markers of time and friendship, the faces we'll always remember. There's always one. He's not hard to find. No, not the kid sitting in left field searching for the four-leaf clover, clueless as to what's happening at home plate. He didn't have a clue when his mom signed him up at the Park and Rec office. There he is, the 5-year-old wearing wristbands, a batting glove, new cleats, jersey tucked in, and a wad of gum in his cheek. He's been wildly swinging his bat for warm-ups since he got out of the car. He has stretched, thrown a ball around for at least 30 minutes, and is ready for heavy-duty t-ball competition. If his team doesn't win the game, he's so mad he'll cry. Are we set apart as athletes that early? For many of the greats, the answer is probably yes. But some of our greats slip up on us, and when it's all said and done, there will always be someone we wouldn't have put the money on. The country kids who never competed in Little League because they lived too far out. No one knew they could run, hit, throw, jump, or shoot until their first day of high school. In fact, if it weren't for eagle-eye coaches who scout the lunch lines every August, those kids might never have taken a shot from the three-point line. The unnamed kid who grew almost a foot and possibly a beard over the summer always got a tap on the shoulder and asked, "Boy, have you ever thought about playing basketball?" No matter how the athletes got started, something about the game brought everyone together. In small towns like ours, by the time a kid gets through high school sports, there's a good chance that most of the team has been playing together for 8 to 12 years. That also means their families have been sitting together in the sun, rain, sleet, and snow for a decade. Moms have been taking loads of their own kids and others from field to field, across town and county, region and state. Coaches have been making sure that the best pitcher on the team had a ride to the game and a ride home after the game. Fathers have leaned over those fences for years, encouraging each player to keep it up. The smart parents knew that keeping the best players together was good for their own child. As the summer fades and excitement grows for fall and football, small-town kids change into different uniforms and transform from baseball, softball, and tennis into football, band, and cheerleaders. There aren't enough kids to make a choice, so small-town kids have to do it all. Quarterbacks skip the locker room at halftime to march with the band. Cheerleaders drop megaphones and pick up saxophones. That small group of moms and dads who've been sitting in the dirt and sun for 10 years are now clumped together in the stadiums where they cheer their hearts out in the fall. Just as the season ends, it's time to move inside. And as surely as the earth turns and the seasons change, you'll find them shoulder to shoulder in gyms small and large across Union County, cheering our people on to fun and purpose and memories, because that is community.